University of Lynchburg hosting the NCAA Division III Regional. The Hornets beat Emory yesterday. Lynchburg trying to punch a ticket to the D3 College World Series, just one win away. Tied at ones in the bottom of the third when Brittany Coffey sends a shot deep to left, and that's a two-run blast. Hornets take a 3-1 lead, but Emory's bats opened up in the sixth inning. Bases loaded, and Megan Weisenberg hits a sharp single up the middle. In comes 2 runs. The Falcons would win Game 2, 9-5. Game 3 action. Emory scored a run in the second, and the Hornets sting back immediately with 2 on base. Carol Oberhelma singles to left field, and in comes a run. A few batters later, we have a wild pitch. In comes the runner to score, just beats the tag. Lynchburg had a 6-1 lead, but Emory battled back to tie it up. Cassie Baca's single here, that plates 2 runs. 9-6 Falcons lead. Lynchburg rallied for late runs, but they fall short 10-8. Virginia Tech played Kentucky in the winner's bracket of the NCAA Regionals. The Hokies lost 8-1 and met Illinois again. They won that game 5-1. They'll face the Wildcats again tomorrow in an elimination game. More D1 scores. UNC eliminates Big South champs Longwood in the Knoxville Regional. In the Ann Arbor Regional, James Madison fell to Michigan and faced DePaul in an elimination game. They won that one 3-0. So they play Michigan again tomorrow. Liberty softball wins their NISC regional to advance to the championship round in Colorado next week. And lastly, Virginia Tech baseball victorious over Virginia 8-4.